All right. I think that is working. I think so. I hope so. I hope we're live streaming. I hope this is all good. I can't tell yet. But it's going to be like an Ask Me Anything. That's the idea. Ask me anything while we watch a Zwift race. So it's going to be the full race, and it's already recorded. So it should be like super good quality. The frame rate should be really good. The bit rate should not be very good. And it's just how it is. So good frame rate. Yeah. Decent frame rate. Not great quality of bit rate. So there you go. So, okay, now I can see the chat. Now we're on. Now we're good. Dude, I can't tell you how much energy I've put into trying to understand live streaming and all this stuff. But the thing is that my internet here at Bass Lake is horrible. But I had the internet guys come up today and take a look, and they said that by February of next year that they'll have an option for 100 megabyte download and 10 megabyte upload, which I know most people like in the city would be like, duh, that's like normal stuff. But for me, currently I have 25 megabytes upload and 2 megabytes upload. So it takes me forever to do anything. And so when I have that, you know what I mean? We'll be freaking dialed, dude. To have 10 megabytes per second upload speed, I can Zwift live stream in steezy HD. So you know. There we go. Hey, but this race is a little bit boring. It was 11 laps, and as you can see, I'm like messing on my phone, and I wasn't paying attention, and I missed the initial break. The break went away at the first on like just right away, and I totally wasn't paying attention to it. Also, I've been really trying to pay attention to my freshness fatigue form score because of just how important that really is, right? So I got in this race, and it was more of just I was going to hold zone 1 to 3. I didn't really want to make any big efforts. I just kind of wanted to stay paced and just kind of suck wheel, which ended up working out decently, but I missed the break. So, but one of the guys was like super cheating. So anyway, ask me anything. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I want to do while we watch this, and we can chat about that. I think you can already see the guys up the road, and I'm just like just noodling. I'm staring at my computer, thinking like, hey, why is my heart rate not showing up on my computer? And so yeah, there you go. We'll just grab a question. Oh, that's so funny that Harry calls Chad. It's awesome. Hey, I'm new to Zwift. I have a question. Do you find it harder to ride on the indoor trainer than riding real road? So is it harder to ride indoors? Okay, so definitely there is a thing of heart rate drift when you get too hot. So usually you're not going to be able to produce the same amount of power indoors that you could outdoors, just because of just the way, you know, the wind's blowing over you. Also, depending on your trainer. So when I had rollers, man, it was so difficult to put out any sort of power, because as soon as you let off the pedals, right, you actually like there's no coasting, and so you're always like fighting against the gear. With the Wahoo kicker or the hammer, I think the Cyclops hammer, their freewheel is massive. The hammer's like 20 pounds. The Wahoo kicker's like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. And so actually with a nice freewheel, it feels way better indoors. It just feels as good as indoors as it does outdoors. So I've been able to put down decent amount of power indoors. So just got to get the right trainer. How do you big time cheat on Zwift? So there's definitely ways to cheat on Zwift. Oh boy. Dude. So frustrating, dude. Okay. I think we're back. Yeah, we're back, dude. Freaking internet. Freaking internet, dude. Oh my goodness. So periodically my internet just shuts off. It's just like psych out. And then it comes back on. But boy, isn't that a frustrating thing. So dude. Okay. Where we were talking about cheating on Zwift, which was one time my what's the power meter, the stages, it just glitched out for whatever reason, and it added an extra 400 watts. So if I was doing 100, it said I was doing 500, right? And so if you just left it in that like messed up calibrated zone, you could definitely cheat big time. I think a lot of other guys, they just more or less have a trainer that gives them a slight bump in watts, but that they're mostly like, say, a 280 pound dude. If he went on and said he was 180 pounds, like for instance, my coach Tony Wolf, his power numbers are. When he's fit, when he's on form, like his power numbers are world tour power numbers. The problem is that he's just so big, right? So, if he just bumped his weight down. But man, get on Zwift, and the cheaters make it hard. You just got to try to go. You overreach. But as you can see right now, I think there's 3 guys up the road at 30 seconds. 30, 40 seconds. And then there was 2 guys that tried to make the bridge. And I'm watching their watt per kilo. So like on Zwift, what you really want to do is watch their watt per kilo, because then you know just how hard they're going and how hard you would have to go to close that gap. And so as I'm watching like this guy, Waldy ZTR, putting out 6-7 watts per kilo, like he's going all in to try to catch those front 3, and if he had made it, he'd have been good. But spoiler, those 2 dudes did not make it. All right, let's go back to some questions. I'm gonna try to look here, but the questions are there. So yes, how many fans do you use on Zwift? I use a massive, humongous fan. I'm going to bring it up. Oh, can I? Yeah. Jeez Louise, look at this fan. Look at that fan. So just this one. And actually that one on like high, if you turn that one on high, dude, it's just like you can't hear anything. It's just smashing quality air on you. But in the winter, my office has no heating. My house now does have heating, but this room that I'm in does not have heating. So it will get to be like 40 or 50 degrees in my office. So I won't need a heater in the winter, or a fan in the winter. I'll need a heater in the winter. So there you go. Yeah. If you have a wheel on Smart Trainer, you can use brakes during spin downs to cheese the power. You can also put in false weights. Yeah. So that the trainer I had with the kinetic trainer, the wheel against the thing, it had a weird power bump. And so up to about 200 watts, it was spot on. But then it kind of gave me a good little bump in power from like 200 to about 400 watts. Like that was at times 30 watts more than what my like pedals were reading. But then after that, after like 400 or 500 watts, it just fell off a cliff. And then so like I couldn't really do more than 600 watts. But with the Wahoo Kicker, the direct drive, it's pretty accurate straight across. But now I can do those bigger efforts. Best direct mount smart trainer. So I'm gonna have 3 trainers at my disposal: Wahoo Kicker, the Kinetic Rock and Roll, and the Cyclops Hammer. I'm gonna do like a shootout on all 3 of those. I've gotten to ride all 3 of those, and off the bat, like it's hard for me to say, but like if money is of no issue, I sort of feel like the Cyclops is probably a good bet to go because of the freewheel is so heavy, it's so big, it's like 20 pounds. But the Wahoo Kicker is a little smaller, a little more portable. The Rock and Roll though feels so good. Like, so if you're looking for feel, like on how that it rocks, pretty neat. So now, right here on this little Zwift race that we're watching, I kind of put in a little bit of a dig on this because this course, the Volcano Circuit, there's really only this one little climb that is of any sort of, shaker of moves here. So I kind of went to the front. I did a little effort. It's hard, But the thing is, dude, on this, on Zwift, when you do full aero, like you have an aero frame and aero wheels equipped, what then happens is, dude, you can sit in, and I think I did like a full 1.5 watts per kilo less than almost everyone else. So yeah, okay. So let me get back to the questions. What videos are coming up? So the marginal gains. I have 2 new marginal gains helmets, and then I have marginal gains. Look, that's so funny that I'm trying to Instagram story rewind that race. Marginal gains. How much does music help your performance? And the marginal gains things is difficult because it's like science, right? It's super sciencey, and I never knew that so many scientists were on YouTube. Just hammer me in the comments. But what's cool is that I did a full-on legitimate study with a scientist for this, right? It was a part of like a legit published paper where there was many different subjects of different weights and different capacities, and it's really cool. And what we did is she had us listen to music and do a 20-minute power test. We couldn't look at power, and we didn't know like time. We had no reference of time. And so you listened to music of your choice, no music, or music she chose, which was like not cool. It was like offbeat, weird tempo. And she published the paper. The results are done, and so now I'm going to take that and kind of decompress that and show what actually the results are, and if music can actually help your performance. So that's like super sciencey. That one's coming up. I've got a few other like training things because I really want to talk about freshness, fitness, form thing, that score on how to like peak, how to build yourself to a peak, because I was able to do that kind of unknowingly, but when I did that Strava KOM thing and hit my 400 watts for 7 minutes, the freshness form score predicted right on that I was going to be the best on that day, at least for a short period. So I want to talk about that. Macaw Factory, Wahoo versus Garmin. That is a video that's coming up, more of like, is the Wahoo a Garmin killer? And yes, it for sure is. I don't have my Element with me, but the Bolt and the Element, holy moly, dude. I don't want to sound like a shill for Wahoo or anything, but I am in love with this computer. It's so easy to use. The app is phenomenal. So when I went and did the Phil Guyman's Cookie Fondo, I easily went to Zwift or to Strava, found the route, started it, ported over that whole route to my computer. So it gives me turn-by-turn directions, which is awesome. But then it also shows you the profile of what's coming up. So I've never rode that course before. I never did that route, but I could see how long the climbs were on the computer, which was invaluable because there was a couple times where I was just like blowing into pieces, and I could stare at the computer and see, oh man, we're close to the end of this climb. Just hang on a little longer. So there. What was your... I'm going to try to read all the questions as much as I can. If I don't answer your question, just throw it out again. So Ale Hunter says, what's my FTP? And then Rich Kane says, what was your watt per kilo as a Cat 4 and what is it now? So I don't know what my watt per kilo was as a Cat 5 or 4 because I didn't get power until as a Cat 3. But right now, my 20-minute power is probably somewhere just below 5 watts per kilo. Maybe like 4.5, something like that. Probably 4.12. It's right around there, but I'm kind of in off mode. I'm in off-season mode. I'm not really trying to train for like 20-minute power right now. I'm trying to just have fun and go out and ride and enjoy my bike because I had a race season and that was cool, but now it's sort of winding down. But so my peak has been 20 minutes at 5 watts per kilo. That's my best I've ever achieved. As a Cat 5, I think I started off probably somewhere in the 3s. Like the very first road ride I ever did. I mean, I wasn't slow, you know what I mean? By any means. I had a lot of fitness from jiu-jitsu. And so, I think that my gains have been substantial, but not like... I kind of started off with a decent amount of fitness. You know what I mean? Link for the study. I will have the link for that music study. And I'll share all that. I'll totally get it dialed in. And that buffer not looking great. Let's see if I can just drop the bit rate a little bit. Come on, buffer, come back to me. All right. I never go back to a Garmin after the Bolt. Yeah, dude, the Bolt and the Element. I mean, the Bolt and the Element are totally the same. They're totally identical. But I don't know which one I like better. I probably like the Element better. But the Bolt has the buttons feel good, Has anyone tried NeoStack GPS Comp? I don't know what that is. Music does make a difference if the exercise is anaerobic. I felt like, and I'm not 100% sure what the study, if the study shows us or not, but that's funny. Dang it. I felt like that for someone who knows power, that music, without looking at your power and hearing music that pumped you up, you would actually perform worse because you would get really excited and go too hard, right? And so then my hypothesis on it is that no music or bad music, even sometimes bad music, might actually help you perform better because you're kind of like thinking about that music. It's sort of like hitting your brain in a weird way. And so it helps you from, blowing up. But today I went out for a ride and dude, sometimes like the right song comes on and I'm just like digging it, dude. I'm just like, yeah, this is it. This is my jam. And I started feeling really good, but then I started to go too hard. So I was like, okay, back it down. You know, who does your stats analysis? Jay Arnett says, who does your stats analysis? Not like my coach, I guess you would say. My coach looks at some of my numbers, maybe. Wanted to do some mountain biking in the winter. Any recommendations for beginner mountain bikes? Hardtail. If you're like a beginner, I would say full suspension is going to be the way you want to go. There are new full suspension bikes that are pretty sweet. You can see right here in the race that those guys kind of started to get away, like there started to be a little split. So then I'm like moving further up through the group to make sure that I cover that, because I don't want to get, I can't let a big old group get away from me. So I did chase that down. So yeah, but yeah, no, if you're a beginner, I would say a full suspension if you can get it. Hardtails are sweet if you want to race, but full suspension if you can do it. What's your fave road bike, money being no object? I don't know. I think I've always liked the felts, man. The felt AR looks really cool. I think that my favorite road bike would just be something that looks super futuristic, super aero, and has an awesome color scheme. I think that most all big companies, dude, they're gonna have dope bikes. You know what I mean? They're all spending a ton of money in the wind tunnels. Like the differences from one to another, I don't think they're gonna be that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of, to me, like, pick a cool color and a cool frame, Dude, the new Diamondback, I don't know if anyone has seen that sucker, but the newest, it's coming out in 2018. The newest Diamondback is really cool. It's like, has these dimples all along the frame so to like buffer the wind. It looks really cool. Like the analysis in all your comparison videos. Like the analysis in your comparison videos. What do you mean compare? I'm sorry, Jay, man. I don't know. Like the analysis in like the overlays, the power overlays. I'm not sure, man. Cat 1 coming soon. It's like, I don't think I'm going to upgrade to Cat 1. So look here in the race, a couple guys started to go. And again, like I said, this little kicker in that volcano circuit, this is really the only time that you're going to be able to put out energy where other guys, like on a climb, right? You put out X and another guy has to put out, he's not getting much an advantage on being on your wheel. Cat 1, I don't want to upgrade to Cat 1. Here's the thing, is the difference between Cat 2 and Cat 1 is only that you get to race nationals. You know what I mean? So there's only one race in the year that would say Cat 1 only. It's usually Cat 1-2s or P1-2s. And so by being a 2, what I get to do is I also get to race 2-3s. And so, you know what I mean? I don't honestly know the advantage of being a Cat 1. I just don't know if that's going to be a benefit. It would, to me, it seems like it'd only be a hinder, because I would, for example, my coach Tony Wolf upgraded to Cat 1 so he could race nationals, and that was cool. And I think it was something else he could do. I think he could race like BC Super Week or whatever as a Cat 1. Like there's other humongous races you can do as a Cat 1. But then when like the Monterey races come around where they have 2-3s and 1-2s, man, he has to drive 3.5 hours. Now he lives in Pennsylvania, but he did have to drive 3.5 hours to race one race. And I really like to be able to race 2 races if possible. So I'm going to try to stick around as a Cat 2 for long. All right. How's the camp coming along? May cycling camp's going to be off the chains. The October camp was supposed to be this weekend. It's supposed to be happening right now. But with all the fires, I couldn't risk someone coming here and then for whatever reason Bass Lake getting evacuated. Oh my goodness, how horrible would that be? How horrible would that be if you flew from like the UK and you're just like, what's up, Yosemite? And I'm like, nah, dude, we've been evacuated. We got to stay in Fresno. It would be a nightmare. So I had to cancel this camp. May cycling camp is going to be epic. Hardest part of the Cookie Fondo, the last climb of the day. That last climb was bonkers. And so I did the 84-mile deal. There was essentially 3 climbs. And so we started off so hard. It was very windy, and like the Cannondale boys and Phil and everyone was just like at the front drilling it. And so I did 380 watts for 5 minutes just to stay with the front group. Like, dude, the first hour was full gas. And so I stayed with the front group, and then it sort of like split up. There was a couple guys that dropped off and created a gap. And so like me and a few guys had to chase back on. And then we got on, and then the Cannondale boys, they attacked Phil on a climb. So, dude, it was just chaos. And so I was pinned a lot. And then when I hit the last climb, I was out of water and just dunzo, dude. And so that was the hardest part for sure, because it was so steep. I think it was like 2,500 feet of climbing, and it was like 15% climbs, and it was hot. It was just, bleh. That last climb was, no, dude, Jay, I'm sorry, man. I just not I didn't understand your question, and I feel like an idiot. If I can do 15K in 45 minutes, is that good? Like 15 kilometers? I don't know. I don't know if that's good or not. I mean, like, distance, it's hard to say, you know? It's totally hard to say. But I don't know. I don't know what 15 kilometers. My American brain doesn't work like that. Dude, thanks for being a vegan inspiration. I jokingly asked a friend, what's the meaning of life? He replied, whatever you make of it. Thanks for being awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I don't always comment, but when I do, you like it. I do like it. I do like it when people comment. You know how you did the Strava versus power meter? Can you do a Strava versus other heart rate zones? I find heart rate zones on Strava versus other zones confusing. Well, like a heart rate, your Strava should pick up your heart rate, right? I mean, I don't know what you would mean by other zones, but for zones period, you need to make sure that you have them set right, and that you have, like, if you just did an auto generate on zones, they might not be correct. And so when I got a VO2 max test done, they were able to map out every one of my zones because they could see everything. Oh, boom, look at this on the race. I just counterattacked them because I'd just been sitting in, and then they all attacked, and then I gave a little effort around them to try to maximize my, my hurt on them a little bit, because like I kind of had that easy draft, but then no one went with me, and so I was hoping that someone was going to bridge up to me and we would go at this point. But so I'm looking at the time. Like, I don't know if you can see it on the live stream thing, but I'm looking at like how far away they are behind me and the time and that sort of thing. And so actually I think me and these two dudes got into a little rotation, but one of them is a B rider. So when Zwift, they have A, B, C, D all combined, but you as an A, me as an A, only see the other A's. So the guy in that like colorful jersey, he's a B. So I don't really see his stats. I don't see his watt per kilo. I don't see anything about him, but I see him there and I can interact with him. But he's actually not technically in my race. Is that kind of weird? You know what I mean? Shall I get the Elite Rampa trainer? How about the Vortex? I don't know about all the other trainers. When I went to Interbike, dude, trainers galore. There were so many trainers. Different companies doing trainers. One company, bro, had oh my god, the system they had, they were from Japan, and it was like a video game arcade machine. Like, it was so massive. It had fans built in and a TV, and it was like the Dance Dance Revolution type thing, right? It was insanity. And they had their own Zwifty type thing, but it was real life, okay? So they just had like a car driving on real roads. And I don't know, man, I think they missed the boat. Anyone that's trying to reinvent what Zwift has done, I think they're just going to dump too much money into it. It's never going to be successful. Zwift is where it's at. Everyone else sort of just needs to give up a bit. Like, just whatever you're doing as a company, try to incorporate Zwift into it. Don't try to compete with Zwift at this point, because I just think that they nailed it. And so, there you go. I'm a 15-year-old biker, and I can do 9.3 miles in 45 minutes. I'm thinking of doing a race. What would you suggest I do to train? Dude, just for one, as a 15-year-old, you want to just be making sure you have fun, because cycling is a sport of endurance, figuratively and literally, right? Like, it's all about how you finish and not how you start, right? And so if you just start diving into training super hard right now, you might burn out. So I've like always say this, right? Just go and do it. Just go out, start racing, and you'll kind of figure it out as you go. Especially if you're 15, man, a lot of times the racing is going to be difficult for you to find like a solid group of guys to race with. In my area, the junior racing often gets to be where like there's 8 kids, and 2 of them are insanely amazing. 2 of them have never even rode a bike before, and then there's just a couple of them in the middle. And so no matter how hard you trained for that race, you're probably not going to be hanging with those front couple guys because they're just super experienced. And so you just go out and race and reassess at that point. But at 15 years old, just, get in miles, go explore, have a good time, have fun, fall in love with cycling before you completely go power crazy, Can you establish your zones without a VO2 max test? Yes, you can. You can do a 20-minute power test. You can do, so a VO2 max is going to give you the best results, but you can do a 20-minute power test, or you can do a 30-minute power test. Both of them require you to do a little bit of math to kind of like minus, a percent off that. But yeah, you can definitely do 20 minutes, like on Zwift, if you got on Zwift, or if you have, any sort of power meter, just go out, do 20 minutes, basically as hard as you can. That power number divided by, I don't know what it is, like 85% or something like that. It basically gives you your FTP, and then you can take that and put it into, I did a video on it, how to use a power meter, or like one of those power meter videos where it all was, it showed you how to go out and get it and put it into this website that calculates all your zones for you. You can do the same thing with heart. So that's kind of cool. On Zwift, can you control your pulling versus sitting in? Like when there's only a couple of folks in your breakaway? Yeah, you can definitely do that. You just pedal less. And so if you have a smart trainer, it's really, really easy, because when you're in the draft, it eases up on the resistance. On my rock and roll, it didn't communicate with Zwift. It was still a smart trainer because it had power, and it sent that information to Zwift, but it didn't receive anything from Zwift. And so it was very hard to manage staying in a break. So I'd always like surge and then. But with the direct drive smart trainers, and I'm sure that Kinetic has their smart trainer version does the same thing, but it is, you can totally just sit in, and like I'm kind of doing here. I've just been sitting in on these guys. And when you're with one other dude, you can totally rotate. You can sit on their wheel, do about 1 watt per kilo less than what they're doing, and then, you just kind of swap turns. So for sure you can. Any quick tips for a beginner cyclist on climbs, hills? Climbs and hills, I think that is just mainly about understanding your pacing. Depending on the hill, you want to know about how long that hill is, and then pace yourself. That's why power meters are phenomenal, is because you can pace with so much science. You can just stare at that number and go, I know I can complete this climb at this given power number. And so, yeah, man, the tips are to get a power meter and then just kind of learn how to use that. Even if you're not racing, a power meter is going to help you so much, just be able to pace yourself through the ride, so the ride is funner. It is when you are training structured, and when you're training with metrics, heart rate or power, and you know your zones and you know how to read that stuff, your training should feel way easier. You shouldn't always come back from a ride blasted. You know what I mean? It shouldn't just be like you're going out to kill yourself every single ride. Today, I went out and Tony, my coach, he said, go do steady zone 2. That's it. And so I went and did a mountain bike ride, and it was a little bit hard to stay in zone 2 with the really steep kind of single trail climbs that I was doing. But I just stayed in roughly zone 2, low zone 3. And when I came home, dude, I just felt super fresh. I felt really good because I never did any super crazy efforts. I didn't do any sustained damage to my legs and heart and that sort of thing. So just, dude, get on with the training metrics. Other companies should give up, like Ride Social. I don't know what Ride Social is, but I know when I went to Interbike, there was so many other companies that were trying to do something similar to Zwift. And I know it's kind of like a frantic grab for this market, but I just think it's going to be very similar to like Facebook and MySpace, Friendster, that sort of thing, of just, it's only going to be fun where the people are. Even if Zwift is a less not as good of a program or company or experience, if there's more people on Zwift, that's where I would want to go. I don't want to go and do the greatest virtual software ever if no one's on it. With that being said, I think Zwift is by far the best one out there. It's amazing. What's your thoughts on the 2017 Trek? Dude, I don't know anything about Trek at all. I bought my son a Trek bike, and I hated it. It was weak. It was super heavy. It wasn't cool. Why is the stream now getting so janky? Come on, stream. Come on, stream. There we go. Ugh. What is the DB mountain bike you're riding? It's the Diamondback mountain bike I'm riding is the Overdrive. It's an aluminum. I wanted carbon. Got aluminum. I didn't know how much I was going to ride mountain bikes. And now I really wish I had gone with the carbon, especially since I'm racing mountain bikes this weekend. I'm racing Sunday. And so I kind of wish I had a carbon bike. Brent, thank you so much, man, for hanging out. It hasn't happened yet, but I can see training time becoming kid time. Any dad tips to balance cycling, daddying? Dude, that is a hard thing to do, right? A lot of people assume when you have your kid that your life's just going to like be 100% towards your family. You're not going to have any time to train. I don't want this to become a full-on commercial for Zwift, but Zwift is definitely a thing that will help with that, because you don't, like, just think about all the time that it takes you to put on your gear and get out the door and come home. Like, you can shave off a good 30 minutes to an hour if you're just training indoors. But to train indoors, you need a good smart trainer, and you need something to keep your mind occupied like Zwift. So that's the way to do it. But also, dude, just try at the least, just try to ride when you can. So when I had my son, I basically kind of was like all about him, and I think I only rode like once a week for a little while. But dude, you gotta go out and ride. It needs to be a priority. You will help your family. You will contribute more to your family. You will be there for your kids if you're sane. If you lose your mind and you go totally out the door because you're losing it, because you're not riding and you're not getting those endorphins out, you're not sweating, you're not going to be the type of dad you want to be. So it sounds contradictory, but to have some time to yourself, to regroup, to mentally be there, dude, that is as important to your parenting as being there for your kid. So ride when you can. AJ, bro, thank you. Your channel, advice, and vids probably saved my life. Got me off the couch, inspired me, got my health in check. Dude, AJ, I can't tell you how much that means to me. It means a lot to me, dude. I never thought I would be in this position to inspire anybody. Like, it's really a strange experience. But I feel grateful that I have a platform, that I've done something that can help other people's lives. And I think about it a lot. I think a lot about how, I possibly could affect people's lives that I will never even meet or never know me. As in the way of, like, say, AJ, you have a son down the road or a child or whatever, and you pass along some healthy living tips to that kid, and then that kid passes healthy living tips to their kids. You know what I mean? All because it kind of started with some goofy YouTube video. Like, it doesn't matter where that inspiration comes from, as long as it gets the ball moving, dude. That's just so awesome. You're the man. Andres, how is it going with your P1 pedals? I love my P1 pedals a lot. At first, I did it. The first like 3 weeks, I wasn't totally sold on them. I was having a little bit of issues with them, and I don't know if it was like a software thing, but after about 3 weeks, I've had zero issues with my pedals. I like them infinitely more than Stages. The dual-sided is super cool because if a battery dies in one, it transfers over to the other. And so as for me, especially when I'm like going out and doing a video or something like that, if I was doing a race and my Stages power meter died, my power overlay data is whack as jack. It's totally ruined. But with the power meter pedals, it'd be very rare that both batteries go dead at the same time. And so, you know what I mean? It transfers over to just one, and then you can just run off one, which is cool, super cool. The other really, really cool thing is that the power profile is going to stay the same. Every power meter is going to be a little different, right? 5 to 10 watts, probably variant between one or the other. And so when I take my pedals from my road bike and put them on the TT bike, it's phenomenal because I know, like, that power feels so real. That's not the word. But the power feels so, it's consistent. You know what I mean? So I know that when I'm doing 320 on the road bike and I get on the TT bike, 320 is exactly the same. It's going to be exactly the same. As of where if you had one, like a cork on your TT and power meter on your road bike, and then you had something else on your cyclocross bike, or if you just get new road bikes every couple years and you're getting new power meters for those every couple years, when I went from Stages to a power tap, my power profile jumped like 20 watts. You're like 15 to 20 watts. Like every zone was about 15 to 20 watts higher. And so, if I was jumping from Stages to power tap back and forth, it'd be an issue. I really hope that my wife is watching this. Babe, I'm out of water. Do you think you could bring me another bottle of water? That'd be sweet, babe. Do you like the Wahoo better than your Garmin? Yes, yes, yes. Yes times a million. Now, I have the 510. So the 520, maybe a totally different story, maybe a totally different deal, because it's newer. But I know that I rode with Chaz, and Chaz, he did like it a lot. He totally got hooked by the end of the ride. He said that the workout thing was better, that the live Strava KOM segment thing is awesome. Just the So with my Garmin, I never used maps. I never used Strava, live Strava segments. I didn't use anything on it at all because it was just like not easy to do. The live tracking, I like to have my Garmin send off live tracking to my wife so she knows where I am. Well, you have to get into the app. You have to turn it on. There's a kind of a process to that. With the Wahoo, you don't do that. It just automatically is like being beamed to my wife. You know what I mean? So, dude, a full review on those coming soon, but I couldn't recommend the Wahoo more. It's a phenomenal unit. Appreciate the answer and appreciate the family parts of your videos as much as the cycles. Have a good night. We'll watch the rest of this on the recording later. Brent, you're the man. Love the videos and the posts in Strava. When did you start cycling and training? I started 1 year ago and I'm 38. How difficult is it to decently improve performance at this age? I started 6 years ago? 7 years ago. I started in 2010. Right? Yeah. Started in August of 2010 is when I started cycling. And so the first year there was like no gains whatsoever. It was a very like, just go out and figure out if this is even a thing I want to do. And then as I kind of fell into it a little more, the gains came. But I cannot remember her name. I can't remember her name, but there's a lady who started cycling at like 37 or 38, something like that. She had never done sports before. She started riding. She was like a business executive. She was hanging out in her office on the trainer. And dude, she ended up going like world tour for the women's. You can look at Rich Roll. Dude, he's like 50. He started super late. That guy got really fit. So I mean, it's going to be at 38, dude, though I wouldn't worry about it. You just train and you'll get there. B-Tracks. Thanks for the quality videos, man. Can't wait to do bikes only day in Yosemite. Dude, do it. I don't know what that day is going to be, but I will post about bikes day only in Yosemite as far out as I can, but I'm going to do an official group ride, as big of a group ride as I can when it's bikes only in up to Glacier Point. So I hope that you can join me on that because that would be sick, dude. Jay says, your Just Breathe video was my gateway to your channel. Keep up the great work. Well, Jay, that's awesome. That Just Breathe video was got a lot of views, which was fantastic. What's weird about that video is it took me almost the least amount of time to make than any other video I've ever done. I was out on a bike ride, just like spinning around, and I just sort of kind of started to like formulate this idea of this little story that would be kind of neat to tell. And when I came home, I just started putting together video clips that I had already had, like past clips, other than like the recording of my face that my wife did. That video came together super quick, and I almost didn't post it. I got done with it, and this is how every one of my videos are. I just was like really self-conscious about it. I was like, dude, is this cheesy? Is this too cheesy of a video? People are gonna laugh at it. It's gonna be dumb. And like I legitimately walked away from the computer as I'm not gonna post it. And then I came back and I was like, whatever, I'll just post it. And it's It's a good video, man. I mean, to be honest, I still watch it, which makes me sound like a goofball watching my own videos. But I watch that breathe video just to remind myself, dude, sometimes just to breathe. Just breathe. You know, like it's not that crazy. Like, it's all good. Just get back on it. So, what kind of cycling game is this? Dude, Mark, if you don't know what this is, bro, you got to get on it. It's Zwift. This is Zwift. This is the controller is you. So it is the Zwift is taking my power that I'm putting out into the trainer and then presenting that to my guy. The Zwift racing feels identical to real racing. It's phenomenal, dude. Get on it. Mr. Kimber Crazy. I'm not vegan and never will be, but appreciate the high quality content you put out. Just got a 64 centimeter Moto pecan, and starting to train here in Indiana to prepare for races next spring. Awesome, dude. And that's the thing, right? Like, I probably have more people that watch the cycling stuff than care about me being vegan. And in hindsight, probably maybe would have been better for my channel and the overall scheme of things if I had not classified. Hold on. I'm attacking right now. So in this lap 8, boom, slamming it. I've been just like sitting in. I'm kind of bored. Dude, and sometimes in racing, I get bored. And I just want to race. Like, I just want to race. I want to compete. And so when we're not really racing or we're not really competing, I'm just get bored. So I felt like this was a good time to go. And on this climb, I gave a pretty good effort. This other dude went with me, which I was super pumped on. And we got a pretty good little gap. And so this Zwift race, like, because I only was gonna just hang out in zone 1 to 3, like I wasn't trying to do too many spiked efforts. I had unlimited matches at this point because I didn't really do anything the whole race. Like, I'm 53 minutes in, and I think I was only averaging like 230 watts. And so I picked the right time to go, this took us into 2 laps to go, and I felt very confident that I could probably just hold that solo. But by even getting another dude to go with me, game over, son. Now, we still have 3 guys way up the road. So this is kind of a battle for fourth and fifth. But one of those dudes way up the road, he didn't have a heart rate on. And his watts per kilo were like something so stupid. Like, he was getting like 21 watts per kilo. So he got disqualified for the race. And I kind of knew that. So essentially there's 2 dudes up the road. And then me and this guy are fighting for third. And we worked well together. Now that you mentioned, I think I will get the Wahoo Bolt. So I have the Bolt and I have the... Where did the other one go? I have the Bolt and I have the Element. If you're not a racer, I would say go with the Element. But the Bolt is supposed to be... Shit. The Bolt is supposed to be aero, like super aero, and it's way lighter. But I also really like the buttons on the Bolt better. The buttons feel like sturdier, and they kind of have this like bevel. But the Element, the screen, I like the bigger screen. What's 5 reasons for choosing to go vegan? 5 reasons to go vegan. Okay, these reasons will be for me personally. Sorry, I'm going to answer that question. But right now, I'm like, what is happening? I'm going so hard, and this dude's just pulling away from me. I'm like, what is going on? And so like what I told you is that my power, when a power meter dies, when one battery dies, it transfers to the other one. Look at me, I'm like, what is happening? But in that time of transfer, it doesn't, it only reads one. So like it maybe was like 30 seconds or 40 seconds where I was only reading one pedal. And so I was so bummed right here. I'm like, dude, I make this big effort. I get into this little breakaway, and I'm not that's not my watts. It's my watts cut in half, and so I'm super bummed, dude. But it comes back on, and I think another guy from behind me catches me maybe, and then we work to get back with that guy. So anyway, so that was just really funny. So now I'm trying to type like, dude, my power meter cut out. So that was frustrating. But okay, 5 reasons to go vegan. For me, one of the main perks is that I can eat a lot of volume and be guilt-free on it. I can eat a ton of food. I think most cyclists, when they come home from a ride, they want to shovel food into their face. But if that food is animal-based, it's going to be very high in calories. And so what you absolutely will end up doing is you might go out and ride and burn 2,000 calories on a ride, come home and consume 4,000 calories. Just because you're going to be so hungry and thirsty and that sort of thing. But so for me, one of the number one reasons I like vegan is that I can just shovel food into my mouth. So much broccoli, rice, and potatoes, and beans, and all that, and really have no issue with overconsumption. The biggest actual issue is consuming enough calories. Probably the second thing is a good reason to go vegan would be just that it makes you feel better about the longevity of your life. I really want to be, I want to grow old, but have a quality of life at an elderly age that is good. I want quality. And not saying that vegan is the only way to go on that, but it is definitely Anita Jenkins. You can look at her. I've talked about her before. She's crazy, super old, and she looks really good. And so for me, I think that's like the longevity factor. But you just got to do it right. You know what I mean? There are right ways and wrong ways to be vegan. Like eating Oreos is vegan. Oreos are vegan. If you only ate Oreos, you're not going to be healthy. A third reason, I guess, would be just humane efforts. Like I know that not a lot of people want to talk about that sort of thing, but it's definitely a factor of it. Feeling good about not contributing to a certain industry that's neat. That makes you feel good. And what else? I don't know what other 2 reasons would be. Weight control, that's big. Yeah, so 3. There's 3 reasons. You definitely bring a unique presence to cycling and cycling life balance with work and family. What would you say is your greatest challenge being consistent with family, work, videos, etc.? What's my biggest challenge is to stay focused and to make sure that I don't do everything half-assed. And I have a video talk about balance where I say if you try to do everything, you'll do nothing, right? It's like you'll do everything not well. And so my biggest challenge is to try to like pinpoint and laser in on the things that I want to accomplish. Work has been really crazy the last couple weeks, man. It's been like normal work. It's been really difficult. I basically our company is growing, and I've had to take a larger role with more responsibility, and it's been difficult. But that's like my main focus, and so I really got to hone in on that, which then hurts the video production and that sort of thing. So then I kind of feel bad about it, and then I get like stressed out about not putting out a video, and then it's like I haven't put out a video in a little while, so but then I got to like turn off work and shift that focus to the videos because I don't ever want to put out a video that's not 100%. But then like my son and my daughter and my wife, like I got to put, so it's just the biggest challenge is lasering in on the things I want to focus on and keeping it there without bouncing around too much. In bed in Toll House, having a coffee, out to work at 7:15, not riding this week, got bronchitis. Dude, that sucks. Bronchitis is no fun. On the Zwift race, are there other riders riding in real with you? Dude, Mark, bro, these are real riders riding in real time. These are other guys smashing their trainers at home just like me. So this right now is a legitimate race with about 60 people in it. They are all racing real time. It's phenomenal. After the race, it just goes to like a general deal. Just like a general, it's just you ride around. So it's like a real world. You can go out and ride around. There's other people. You can hang out with them. You can turn around. You can go different. You can go left or right. This is a fixed race, so the course is fixed. But after the event, you can just ride around and meet people and hang out and chat with them. It's all real time. It's like a real world with real people. It's awesome. Do you regret naming your channel The Vegan Cyclist instead of something else, maybe limiting to the subscription? Totally. If I had named myself Cali Boy or like, Forest Cycler, I don't know, Tree Guy, whatever it is that if it didn't say vegan in it, I am pretty sure that my channel would be 3 to 4 times as big. 100%. So that kind of eats away at me. I've had cycling tips and Velo News and a couple other like big establishments. I Facebook them like, hey, can you share this video? It has nothing to do with veganism, dude. It's cool. It's just a cool video. And they'll say like, hey man, your stuff is cool, but we will never share your videos because we'll never get in bed with being vegan. We don't want anything to do with that. And so it is difficult, man. It's difficult. But then I see like guys like Rich Roll who, goes in Forbes magazine and he's all about being vegan. So like I always say this, I'm not vegan enough for vegans and I'm too vegans for cyclists. So it's like it's a lose-lose situation, dude. You know what I mean? And so going back to like lasering in, I think that if I had just focused on one thing like cycling or just one thing veganism, I would probably have done better at either of those things. But since I tried to like meld this two, it is a bad decision. But with all that being said, success is not always the number of views you get or the subscribers you get or the money that's in your account. Like that is one metric of success, but it is not success. So when I have people tell me that I have changed their life for the better and that they're eating healthier and that they're focusing on what they're eating and that they've had this complete and utter profound change that then they say they could never go back on, dude, that's awesome. To me, that is success. And so it's those times, as in when I've touched and affected other people's lives in such a positive way with the vegan cyclist, circle, that I just kind of figure like, dude, it's totally worth it. Totally. When will you come out and do the San Dimas stage race? I ride for the club that puts on the race and could see if I could get you hook up in exchange for a vlog of the race. I think San Dimas is pretty legit. I don't know how well I would do, but yeah, maybe. I think the San Dimas still has that uphill time trial, and I know that there was a guy that I rode with. And he was from South Africa or something. And dude, he did like 6.5 watts per kilo for 17 minutes. Just did some unreal range of power and he got like 7th. And that's the class I would be racing in. But I don't know. It'd be a cool experience, I guess. I'd like to come check it out. What's your best FTP? So my best FTP, I think, peaked out around like 336, something like that. 336, 340. And so that was the best. And it was, again, around 5 watts per kilo for 20 minutes. But that's not, I would say my strength is more, I have a lot of matches. I can surge and do like 1,000 watts or like 700 watts for, like, I could do a lot of watts for a short period of time, a lot of times. With proper recovery, like a good, decent recovery in between those, I could just bang those out all day. But it's the really high sustained efforts or the high efforts within a sustained after. Those are the efforts that win races, not the short little bursts over and over and over again. So, can you make another one of those training videos like you did where you had zones and it was a group ride, the live action thing? I made a Zwift workout file for it. It's amazing. Yes, I have another one. In the works. It's a climbing one, and it's kind of funny because I'm like your team. Like, you're in a stage race. It's the last race in a stage race, and I'm like your team guy in the team car, and I'm like radioing to you. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I'll probably do more of those for sure. Definitely. There's no Pro 1-2. Oh, so the San Dimas stage race is a Cat 2 only? If it's a Cat 2 only, I'm there. I'd love to do that. New stock of cycling kits 2018 season. Well, I mean, right now you can get them right now. I have some stock. Like, I have these are full of kits. Just don't have a ton of sizes. But those, you know what I mean? Fruit. So, but I've got some, I've got the Fruit, I've got the VC, and I've got new designs that are going to come out, but they're going to be one-time, limited edition, only designs. Those will be coming out soon. Those will be sick. But you can get the kits now, the ones I have on the site, thevegancyclist.com. Would you contemplate making another channel with a different name and then focus that on cycling and then keep the VC for more of a vegan-based following? Kills me as a business student to see you limited. Kills me too, dude. I've thought about it. I've thought about totally doing a different channel, and but I fear, again, like I said, is that I want to focus. I want to be able to focus a lot on one avenue, and if I make another channel, I barely can keep up with one channel. So to do a second one, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. I've got a lot of ideas. The cycling camp, the vegan cycling camp thing, like, that's, as a business student, I think you could appreciate that the growth of that's been good and killer. I've got some cookbooks that I'm working on. Got some other stuff, but it is, dude, the vegan cyclist thing has been limiting. I'm just gonna push through with it. It's me. That's me. It is my brand. That's me. So I'm going to answer a few more questions, but this is the end of the race. And so I'm just sitting on this dude's wheel like a punk. And so this climb isn't very steep right here. And so you can see that he's doing 5.4 and I'm doing, well, now it's a little different, but so I'm doing a good 1 to 2 watts per kilo less than him. And so as of right now, I feel like there's zero chance that I'm going to lose this race. Zero. There's probably going to be no way I'm going to, well, again, there's 2 guys still off the road. 3, 1 got disqualified. So this is racing for 3rd. But we're getting close to the finish and I don't want to go too late. So he goes, But I thought he just hammered it, but he didn't. And so then I kind of came around, and then I sort of, now I'm like leading him out. I was like, oh no, dude. I kind of almost botched it, but boom, boom, third. But look at that. Look at that guy did 4.2 watts per kilo. I did 3.5. So way less. I did a way less amount of watts than he did, just because I was riding smart. You know what I mean? I just kind of chilled out and just you know, I didn't attack like at all. I didn't do much other than that one attack that made the second break. But yeah, I had substantially, well, I guess those other guys, but yeah, 3.5. That's not hard. You know what I mean? So there you go. I'm actually going to just reset that for a second, and let's finish our chatteroony, and then I'm gonna head to bed. What if I do this? There we go. Okay. Do you like criteriums over road races? I like criteriums. I like criteriums way more than road races, because I like the short effort. I like a 1 hour, 75 minute. That totally suits me more than a road race. With that being said, a breakaway in a road race is cool, but they're hard. Couple more questions. Make more mountain bike videos. Ain't that the truth? I'm racing this Saturday on a mountain bike, and there'll be a video. Side hustle hard, bro. So, yeah, I side hustle, man. The thing also is that I have a side business. Well, not a side, it's my main business. Not my web development business, but the web development business feeds into this other business that is data transfer, that is the golden ticket. And when we sell that business, all will be good. Let's just put it that way. So, do you get knee pain from going so hard? I don't get knee pain from going hard, but I do get knee pain for sure. I go to physical therapy. I have a doctor that I go to almost once a month. My knees are jacked. My knees are jacked from the Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That's what they're jacked from. They're not jacked from cycling per se, but my knees do have a lot of stuff floating around in it. So, you know. Good night, Nicholas. You're the man. All right, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I don't know how many people were on the stream. Thank you so much to the two dudes that bought me some Red Bulls. I'm gonna be drinking some Red Bulls. So yeah, so I really want to live stream more. But I couldn't put out another live stream that was crap quality. It couldn't happen. So I wanted to just see if this was gonna be good. If I changed a lot of settings, and then I recorded this Zwift race so it was gonna be smoother, that sort of thing. I think it went well. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about this sort of format of showing you the Zwift race super smooth and delicious, but then also talking about it with this little side screen right here? You know what I mean? Versus that screen over there, me talking out of breath, hypoxic, that sort of thing. What belt are you? I'm a purple belt under Hoist Gracie. Purple belt. Red Bulls. Sponsor me, Red Bull. Hey, look. Yeah, dude, Red Bulls are vegan. Um, 99. I want to make a shirt that says like 99% healthy, because you got to have that 1%. You got to have that 1% that you indulge in. You got to have a vice. You know, I ain't no monk, dude. I'm not trying to be super pure. You know, Red Bulls. That's where it's at. Yeah, man. Dude, get Zwift. Works well in this format. Cool, man. Awesome. Guys, I can't tell you how much. So, okay. Last little story, last little thing, and then I'm headed to bed. At the Phil Guyman Fondo, I had quite a few people come up to me, recognize me, want to take pictures with me. And it was a utterly humbling experience to have people be so appreciative of this relationship that we have. It's a weird relationship because you know so much about me and I know very little about you, but that's totally okay. The thing is, man, I'm an open book because I'm very secure in my personality. I'm very secure in my ego and that sort of thing. I've had some totally ego dissolving and shattering moments in my life with losing my motorcycle business. I used to own a motorcycle business, lost everything, lost my cars, my house. I had a repo man knocking at my door. I'm hiding under the sofa. You know, I mean, dude, I stayed I was being evicted from my home and I'm just like, I have nowhere to live. So I'm like shattering realization of ego. And so I'm really a very open book because I'm confident in where I am now. But anyway, that experience to have someone want to take a picture with me is so amazing, so humbling, and so I appreciate it so much. And I can't tell you how much this journey has means to me because of you, because of your interaction, because of your engagement with this, and that you guys are legitimately stoked on this journey. You know, like it's just super cool. It honestly enriches my life, and there's many times where I find myself like my whole day is consumed with VC stuff, you know, thinking about videos or creating videos or whatever, like talking to people on Facebook and this sort of thing. And just, it's so awesome, dude. I don't know where my life would be without this. It totally enriches it. So, long-winded way to say, super thank you. So there you go. As always, guys, dude. And hey, I don't know where this yut thing came from. I did it. I don't know which video I did it first, but it was like, how do I end videos? You know what I mean? I don't know how to end them, because what do you do? Just like, bye. You know, like I don't know how to end it, and so I don't know where the yut came from, but it came. So as always, vegan cyclist, yeah.